Alcaraz shines and Djokovic is in decline at the 2025 Masters 1000 tournament in Monte Carlo. And let's get started with Alcaraz versus Cerundolo. I thought this was a brutal first round match for Alcaraz. It was actually the second round because he had a bye. I regard Cerundolo as a very dangerous player on any surface, but especially on the clay courts. And I wasn't sure how Alcaraz was going to perform in this match because he did not play a good match against Goffin in Miami. But Carlos went on a much-needed vacation to Cancun for 5 days and then went back to training and getting ready for the first clay court tournament of the season. He's never played well in Monte Carlo, only played one match that he lost. And he came out in the first set playing well. He was very sharp. But after holding serve a couple of times, he started spraying some balls. And I thought, uh-oh, are we seeing another one of these Alcaraz performances where he's just going to beat himself? But he didn't, because in set number 2 and 3, he probably played the best tennis of the entire season. This is the Alcaraz that's capable of winning any tournament. He was playing incredible defense. Hit some amazing passing shots on both the forehand and the backhand side. His drop shot was on point today. That forehand drop shot is the greatest forehand drop shot in tennis history. Hits it with so much feel. The ball has so much backspin on it. Hits it so close to the net. It is an incredible weapon, which he sometimes tends to overuse a little bit, but in today's match, he didn't overuse it. His forehand drop shot selection was good, and he even hit some backhand drop shots. He wasn't serving that great today, but I do think that he's on the right path regarding his serve. He still falls off to the left a little bit. He has a toss that drifts past 12 o'clock on some of his serves, and that leads to a lack of balance, but he has improved that late coiling problem that he had. I talked about this in many of my previous videos. His forehand sometimes can produce a lot of errors, but it didn't today. My wish would be that when he plays on clay, that he adds a little bit more height. But Carlos doesn't always play with height. He likes to blast that forehand and hit it hard and low. And when he's not on, he tends to produce a lot of mistakes off the forehand wing. But in today's match, the forehand was absolutely spectacular. Let's talk about Djokovic versus Tabilo. And I saw practice footage of Djokovic and Alcaraz this week, and there was a picture of Djokovic sitting on the bench with a towel over his head, and he looked absolutely exhausted. I think he still has trouble with his eye. And honestly, I thought that he was going to destroy Tabilo, because I've been following Tabilo after he beat Djokovic last year in Rome, and he did well shortly after that, winning the grass court tournament in Mallorca. But then the results started to decline. He, especially towards the end of last year and this entire 2025 season, had a hard time winning matches. So many first round losses. So I thought that he was going to come in with low confidence. Of course, he's going to have some belief because he beat Djokovic last year. But based on the performance of Djokovic in Miami, I thought that this was going to be an easy match for him. And I thought that he had a very good chance to go in the final and potentially face Alcaraz. But I was so shocked how Djokovic played. Maybe I have some trauma from my finding a new racket series. I was thinking about the Djokovic racket because in some instances, he had a difficult time getting depth on the ball. It looked like Tabilo was dominating him, and Djokovic was grunting and trying, but the ball just wasn't going through the court and penetrating. It looked like Djokovic's shots didn't have any oomph on them. So I thought, you know what, maybe Djokovic should think about switching rackets. But then, as this match went on, Djokovic started making some unbelievable errors. Like very early in that second set, he missed a high forehand from half court. That was one of the worst forehands that I've ever seen from Djokovic. And in that second set, so many balls were going about this long. And I thought, never mind. He doesn't need a power racket. Maybe he needs a control racket. He needs something, because he was just spraying the ball. He was even mimicking. He can't get spin on the forehand. He can't get the ball to loop. Everything is flying on him. And the weather in Monte Carlo today was cold. So generally when it's cold, it's going to be slower conditions. So it makes even less sense why the balls were spraying. It could explain why he was having trouble getting depth. And by the way, Tabilo played a phenomenal match. He wasn't having trouble getting power. He was dominating rallies. He's such a versatile player. I love his serve because he can execute the flat serve and the slide serve off a kick serve toss. So he's a very good server. He has good feel, can hit nice drop shots, great forehand, great backhand, can also play the net. This guy's very talented, but again, he's going through some problems regarding confidence because he's losing a lot of matches. But he won 2 matches this week against Wawrinka and Djokovic, 2 legends. So maybe this is going to give him some confidence. He's going to play well. But back to Djokovic. Not only was his play erratic, he was missing so many shots, but also his body language. It was somewhat flat. Yes, he was trying. It wasn't like the match against Tabilo in Rome last year that I covered, where Djokovic was close to tanking. He didn't really want to be on the court. I felt that in today's match, Djokovic was trying, and he kind of got close towards the end of that second set, maybe to get the break back, which he couldn't do. But overall, it was a flat match from Djokovic from the mental standpoint. It didn't look like he was in a positive state of mind on the court. Now, he didn't necessarily get angry, and that sometimes worries me with Djokovic, when he's not angry at all, when he's completely flat emotionally. This is where he doesn't play well, historically speaking. So what I've been saying in the last few videos where I covered Djokovic, I honestly feel that something has left Djokovic after winning the Olympics last year. And there was a super interesting interview right after the match. And I do think that while he's still out there trying hard, I mean, he reached the semis in Australia, he reached the final of Miami, he's still capable of doing big things on the tennis court. He's obviously still trying. But in tennis, we're talking about percentages, and maybe the motivation has dropped just a few percentages. And what we're seeing now from Djokovic is the following. Does he have potential to still be dangerous in the upcoming tournaments? For example, the French or Wimbledon? Yes, he can go very deep in those tournaments. But at the same time, Djokovic is now more unpredictable than ever before in his career, and he can pretty much lose to anyone if he shows up to the court the way he did today. That is what's so tricky about analyzing Djokovic right now. When he's playing his normal way, he's still right there with the top guys, maybe except Sinner. But when he shows up to the court like this, it's a mysterious low level, similar to early last year. That's hard to explain. And unfortunately, in Djokovic's case, this is the reality right now. He is simply not the same player he was before, but still capable to do big things. So it's very confusing to analyze him. I will say, however, just to be fair, that the eye is still bothering him, and he was touching his arm prior to the match when he was warming up. So it's possible that Djokovic wasn't 100% fit in this match. He would never tell you in the press conference that he's injured. He keeps that to himself. But let's see how he does in Madrid. Let's see how he does in Rome, and then ultimately at the French. It's going to be impossible to predict how he's going to perform at those tournaments.